book in your hand is a feeling that is just, oh, you gosh, you can't compete. You just can't, and it's so exciting. So for this video, I was gonna say book because all I can think about is my book. So for this video, I'll be talking about the different print-on-demand companies, or at least the ones that I've worked with. There's a link that goes more into detail about each of them that I'll put down below. But this is from my experience with each of them. So here we go. So these are 3 different versions, obviously, of the same book, which comes out June 1st. I gotta put my plug in there. So I went through Barnes & Noble's Nook Press, which is their self-publishing company. I also went through Lulu, which is another print-on-demand company. And then I went through Amazon, KDP. And then I also went through IngramSpark. I don't have the one for IngramSpark, and I'll explain why. So the first one, let's go with a popular one. This one is from Amazon KDP. Amazon KDP, it used to be 2 separate things. I think it was Amazon something and CreateSpace. But Amazon took over CreateSpace, like, and now they're one thing. There are benefits. I don't know how it was before then because, you know, first book, I kind of came in post CreateSpace. So the benefits to Amazon KDP, so many benefits, which is why I am going to keep my book partially on Amazon KDP. 1, very easy to use. Very, very, very easy to use. The steps to getting your book on Amazon KDP, you create an Amazon KDP account, which could really just be the same login information from your regular shopping Amazon account. You put in your author information. It is nerve-wracking. I just don't like putting in personal information on the internet. Who does? But they do ask for your information, so how you get paid and things like that. So you create that your author information, and you upload this works. You upload a cover, and you upload your manuscript. Very simple. So there are guidelines though that Amazon KDP has. So the way that your book cover needs to be, it needs to be one PDF that has the front cover, the spine, and the back cover all on one PDF. And Amazon does a great job of showing you exactly what it is that they want and the standards that you should look for. Same thing with the book. Well, when I say the book, I'm talking about the actual interior formatting. They walk you through how to format it. If your book is like mine and it's primarily text, you can format it yourself. I formatted it through regular Microsoft Word. And although I will admit, I messed up the margins just a little bit. You see it? Okay. I messed up the margins a little bit, but for the most part, the book is great. But if you do have a lot of images or intend to include a lot of images, I definitely recommend going onto something like Upwork, Fiverr. There are other similar sites in which you can hire somebody to format your book. Price ranges significantly, and it greatly depends on what you want. But going back to Amazon KDP. I'll put the original cover, what it's supposed to look like, on the side. So what I will say, and that goes for all of my books, is be wary that if you do matte version, so matte is no shine. I don't even have a matte example that I can show you. Oh well. So typically there's matte and there's gloss. Glossy is a book cover that's shiny. Matte, when you look into the light, there's really no shine. So the matte versions, and that's for book Nook Press, Lulu, and Amazon. It has a very felty, kind of almost like skin type feel to it. Depending on your book, you may like it or you may hate it. I like it, especially because there is a body on mine. I think it adds to it, so I don't mind it, but you may not. I, though, would recommend strongly, strongly, strongly recommend using, doing matte. Typically the gloss covers is a sign that it is self-published. So if you really want to be competitive with traditional published books, I would recommend matte. But again, to each its own. So going into the cover, the original cover is much brighter. When you go matte, it dulls the cover significantly. So I would be very cautious about the color scheme that you use for the original book cover, and be wary that when it becomes a matte book cover, even through Amazon KDP, it's going to come out a bit duller and a bit darker. So be wary of that. So going more into Amazon KDP, like I said, it's free to even sign up. It's free to put your book cover, to put your manuscript up there, as long as it fits their standards. And they have entire sections dedicated to how to format things, and to how to format your book. I would be careful though, when it came to the spine dimensions, which they're really helpful with that as well. You might want to go a little bit more with the spine, because a piece of my back cover has overlapped onto the spine. So it's not end of the world by any means, but if you really don't want your back cover to spill onto the spine, be wary of that. What else is there? For the most part, it was incredibly helpful. In terms of formatting the interior, I got the benefit of it being all text. It is hard to format the interior, because I was very confused and everything's sort of backwards. So even numbers need to be on one side, odd numbers need to be on the other. And how you read a book, when it comes to your headings, they actually ended up, you had to format them on the inside because the way you flipped the book was different. That was so confusing. Okay, that was so confusing. But when you upload your manuscript onto Amazon, before you even can go on to the next step of working with pricing or even launching it, it forces you, Amazon KDP forces you to actually check through, to actually like look at the preview so you know what the book looks like. And the preview is actually pretty accurate to how the book will come out. So some cons of Amazon KDP. If you are planning on having books, well, at least paperback books in advance before the release, that's not happening. So this is what a proof copy looks like. Amazon KDP does not do pre-order copies, which was incredibly frustrating. I was trying to find every loophole possible. There just, at least now as I'm making this video, there is none. But they do have these things called proof copies. So you only need to pay the expenses that it would cost to print out this book. For me, it was $5 plus shipping costs, and you can get this proof copy. The con that I cannot stand with this proof copy is that they always have this god-awful watermark. And if you're trying to get advanced reader copies to book reviewers, bookstagrammers on Instagram, people who will post, who want to be able to take pictures with the physical book, this bar is such an eyesore and it drives me crazy. Yeah, it drives me crazy. Some other cons. If you are going to go through Amazon KDP, I still would recommend buying your own ISBN number. Your ISBN number is pretty much your book's ID number for the most part. I would recommend buying your own, because even though Amazon provides one, it only works on Amazon. So if you're trying to sell your book through any other mediums, through any other platforms, you cannot use the Amazon KDP ISBN number. So I would recommend paying that money to buy the ISBN. If you know that you're only staying on Amazon, you are not going anywhere else, you don't need it. When it comes, they don't do a pre-order option for your paperback copies. Also, they don't do hard copies at all. And for paperbacks, they don't have a pre-order option, which frankly, if you're a new author, you don't really need one. Yeah, you don't really need the pre-order option. And in fact, it's highly not recommended. The only reason I even put my ebook version on pre-order, which if you want to go pre-order it, it's there. The only reason I did that is because when reaching out to publishers, sometimes you want to have a call to action and you want to have a link to the book. So to me, that added a bit more credibility. But for the most part, you really don't need to do pre-order. Just make sure your marketing plan is spot on. And if there are other ways of getting a pre-order book, you can go about that way. Other ways that I did get around getting advanced reader copies, I went through Nook Press, tried IngramSpark, and went through Lulu. And this video is already kind of long, so I will make those separate videos. But in terms of Amazon KDP, I think for a new author, it is a great way to step into that self-publishing world and step into the writing world. Be wary though, is if you are planning on branching off of Amazon in terms of selling your book, you may have to work with other platforms as well, especially if you're thinking of getting your book onto into bookshelves, like physical bookshelves. Most booksellers will not buy your book through Amazon because Amazon is their primary competitor. And that being said, I know I'm going back and forth with pros and cons, but you'll be fine. I'll give a little summary at the bottom. Amazon is a huge competitor when it comes to books. A lot of people buy their books on Amazon, so you do have a wide audience to work with when going through Amazon. But if you're trying to branch off of Amazon, and there's plenty of reasons why you would want to do that, I definitely would recommend some of the other platforms and print-on-demand companies out there. Okay, so that's going on Amazon. I have two other versions. I have Barnes & Noble's. Ooh, no, this is Lulu. I have Lulu, and then I also have Barnes & Noble's, and I will talk about those in another video.